Empire Sports Blog, first ever soundbite. I know you're excited. You've been waiting for this a long time. Not really, because we just came up with it, but we have two on tap this week. This is our Jets version, and there will be a Giants version. Giants starting off 0-2, Jets starting off 1-1. Things nobody really expected. We're going to get into the Geno Smith talk a little bit. The goal of these sound bites is to be a little bit on the shorter side, so we're not dragging along. Geno Smith, Matt Sims, Marty Morningwig will all be in this little shot of sports here. I hear a lot of people killing Geno Smith for this Week 2 loss in Foxborough. Now, mind you, the Jets are 1-1, which, let's be honest, if you're a true Jets fan, you're pretty surprised about that. If you know anything about the Jets, you're pretty surprised about that. Thanks to a gift from Tampa Bay, we are 1-1, and the fact of the matter is, the Jets could possibly be 2-0 with a few things fell the right way, but the difference between 0-2, 1-1, and 2-0 for the New York Jets is not a big difference. Any other team, there is a difference, but with the Jets, there's not. You're rebuilding. You're not going to make the playoffs. I don't care what your record is right now, you're not going to make playoffs. So get that on your mind. Your job this season is to rebuild and to see what you have on your team moving forward. Now, that being said, the reports of anonymous players saying, oh, well, we really like to see what Matt Sims has, well, that's good to know. I'm a rookie quarterback 2 weeks into my career, and you want to see what my backup has. Thanks. Thanks for the shot of confidence. Ridiculousness. If you're Matt Sims, I'm sure that this gives you more confidence. If you're Geno Smith, thanks a lot. I'm sorry that I'm not Peyton Manning in the second week of my career on a team with no offensive weapons. That's what you have to say to yourself. You know, Santonio Holmes is lucky if he's at 25% right now. He looks like a shell of his former self. I give him all the credit in the world for being out there. I'm sure he gets asked every week, you sure you want to go? And he's out there. He's out there busting his tail. He's trying to do what he's trying to do, and give him all the credit in the world, but he's at 25%. You know, a scale of 1 to 100, he's lucky if on the Madden radar he's about a 64 right now. Now, when it comes to Stephen Hill, this is the great thing. It's like a spinning wheel. It's like the wheel of fortune of Stephen Hill. You don't know what you're going to get. And the problem is, on his board, bankrupt comes up a lot more than any form of positive output. Now, he'll make these big catches in traffic and show you why he was a second-round pick, and then he'll drop a ball that is easily a touchdown. That's the problem. Clyde Gates absolutely killed the Jets in Week 2, but he's Clyde Gates. A lot of people didn't know who Clyde Gates was before Week 2. So you can't really be too mad about that. And let's be honest, everyone who's ever played the game of football at any level has had a terrible game. Just a game they'd love to forget. But neither here nor there, you know, there's no weapons around this kid. There's none. There's really no one you can sit there and say, well, I have to devote my number one corner or my defensive focus to this guy. You know, maybe in 4 or 5 weeks you'll be saying that about Santonio Holmes, but you're not now. You know, Jeremy Curley is probably the most consistent receiver, and he didn't play. So any chemistry he had with Geno Smith didn't help him in the Patriots game. Now, the big thing that's being overlooked here is that Geno Smith barely played in the preseason. You know, he hasn't really seen NFL defenses, and you can't blame him for making mistakes. He threw interceptions. Oh man, the Jets were going to beat the Patriots. He threw interceptions. It's all his fault. Put in Matt Sims. Re-sign Vinny Testaverde. Call Joe Namath. Get Brett Favre. You're crazy. You're absolutely crazy. The reason the Jets lost that football game was not because of Geno Smith. It was because of their terrible play calling on offense. And granted, most times Bill Belichick knows what every team's going to do. He's a defensive mastermind, so he's pretty much one step ahead of you anyway. But the fact of the matter is, the Jets did have a little bit of a ground game going. Powell and Ivory showed the ability to make a few things happen. Now, why they didn't stick with that and really kind of take some of the pressure off Geno Smith is beyond me. I have no idea. And I've talked to people all week about it, and they've said, oh, well, that's just Marty Morningwig. That's kind of what he does. And my rebuttal to that was, he's done nothing in 2 games to show me he is going to help this team get where they need to be. And he's not going to help Geno Smith get where he needs to be. Marty Morningwig's playing style is not conducive to what the Jets are this season. They're a team in flux. They're a team trying to figure out what they are. They're a team rebuilding. They're not a team who's going to throw the ball 60 times a game like the Green Bay Packers can. Haven't needed to, but can. And they're not a team that can ground and pound every play anymore. Now, some games I do understand you're going to need to throw a lot more than you run. Thursday night was not one of those games. Game ball has to go to Vladimir Dukas. He played a great game against Vince Wilfork. He did a lot of things well, and it was kind of his coming out party. You know, and lost in translation is the fact that he didn't run the football. Probably would have seen a few more nice things from him had the camera been on him and not on Geno Smith and then down the field to Clyde Gates. Which, yes, problem number 456 about this game was every ball deep was to Clyde Gates. But when you go into a game against Bill Belichick, against the Patriots in Foxborough, there's going to be a certain level of nerves there for any quarterback, much less a guy who has had very limited snaps with that first team and in a game situation. You have to be prepared to get plays going that are going to build his confidence a little bit. And I understand that NFL players aren't little kids. But regardless of how old you are, regardless of what you're trying to do, you have got to effectively build this kid. It's a project. A rookie quarterback is indeed a project. It's something that your offense has to kind of revolve around. And that's exactly what the Jets did with Mark Sanchez when they made it to 2 straight AFC Championship games. And you can give me all this BS you want about the Jets ruined Mark Sanchez. No, Mark Sanchez ruined Mark Sanchez because he makes the same mistakes now that he did in his rookie season. So, don't give me that. And like I said, I do like Matt Sims. I think Matt Sims is a good quarterback. I think that he does have a lot of interesting potential. You know, he has an arm that can make all the throws, which is always intriguing for Jets fans because that's been a knock on their quarterbacks for years. They don't have the big arms. They can't make the tough throws. They can't make the throws inside the small windows. And the Jets are used to having speedy receivers like Santana Moss and Lavernius Coles who can run down the field. Then you have Chad Pennington in the middle of the ball who can't get him the ball. In this situation, you have guys like Geno Smith and Matt Sims who can throw the ball deep, but you don't have any receivers that can get down the field. It's a catch-22 with the Jets. But point being, I do like Matt Sims. I'm not a Matt Sims hater by any stretch. But he has no pocket presence, which would lead to the Sanchez-type turnovers where the ball gets knocked out of his hand. I'm not talking about interceptions. I'm sure there'd be some interceptions too, but you're looking at a kid who has no pocket presence, so the ball will be on the ground. As soon as that pocket collapses even a little bit, he's all over the place. And not extending the play all over the place, just absolutely all over the place. And you can't do that. Geno Smith is a rookie quarterback who's 2 games into his career. You need to sit there and you need to ride it. You need to know there's going to be a lot more mistakes than this, and some may come with the game on the line, but he will learn from them. He has shown the ability to process information, and he is getting better. He does show some things. He shows good footwork. He shows a lot of interesting options, and he can extend the play with his feet. Jets haven't had a quarterback like that ever. It brings a new dynamic to it, and it could make good receiver's great. So before you kill the kid, give the kid a chance. Stop selling out. Stop selling all your stock after one or two games, especially when it's the first or second game in a kid's career. Not even Peyton Manning was Peyton Manning when he first started. So keep that in mind. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you soon.